Binge Play fam, what is really good with y'all? I am the one and only TheNightsHero, the immortal hipster god of this planet Earth, watchful protector of all things hipster. Sit here from the planet Vegeta, Saiyan Prince himself, Dre, or the TheNightsHero. And now that we're done with introductions, I want to welcome you guys to episode 2 of BPTV Tunes. Episode 1 was a rousing success. We got a lot of great reviews from you guys out there. We want to thank you guys so much for supporting. And any new viewers out there, we want to thank you so much for supporting as well. So let's get right into it. It would have been a slow week for music, but then on October 10th, Nicki Minaj, the queen herself, dropped her new album, Queen. Now, if you watch episode 1, we all thought that this album was going to come out on August 17th. But Nicki surprised us and just dropped it a week early. It's crazy because you know what happened? I was just sitting on Twitter chilling, about to go to sleep, and then I seen everybody tweeting, oh, Nicki's new album, so, and then I'm like, wait, what? Nicki's album, it doesn't come out for another week. And then you see, Nicki has dropped her new album. Now, as far as how I feel about it, first, it was a good album beginning to end. I am not even gonna, no cap, I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest Nicki Minaj fan. I haven't been the biggest Nicki Minaj fan ever. She's got some songs that I do like. She's got some songs and albums where I'm like, I'll pass. Now, here's what I would say about this album. If you're looking for deep, introspective lyrics that'll just break down things in lyricism and using an extensive vocabulary, this is not the album for you. But this is not a J. Cole album. This is not a Nas album. This is a Nicki Minaj album. And if what you were looking for was dope beats, some songs for some of you ratchet hoes to shake your stankin' asses to, nah, just kidding, but not really. If you're looking for Nicki, let's be real about it. Nicki is kind of known for, in that used to be the Lil Kim mode, but being a little bit nasty. And being real upfront about who she is and her sexuality and things like that. That is what this album was. Nicki Minaj continues to push the envelope and push in her own way the feminist movement forward. It's crazy for some people oh, how could you say Nicki Minaj is a feminist? In her own way, she's a feminist because she is pushing her brand of femininity forward. So I'll give it up to her for that. Now, it would not be Nicki Minaj if she wasn't in some sort of mess around the time her album drops. We all know that there is something going on between her and Cardi B. Not anything, it hasn't bubbled to the surface yet. And we know that but we know between those two, they've had some slick shots. Even Cardi B this week, we won't get into it, but Cardi B had tweeted after Nicki Minaj album dropped about how high she was trending on the Apple Music readout, whatever, above Nicki Minaj. Her I Like It song was even out doing a lot of Nicki Minaj songs. Cardi B kind of thought that was funny. She didn't necessarily mention Nicki Minaj, but we just saw Nicki Minaj's songs a little bit further down on the list. Nicki, to her credit, hasn't really got into it with her yet, but we have seen her get into it with several people, and I'm not sure she even has time for Cardi B this week. Now, the biggest song when the first album first dropped was Nicki Minaj. She will do some name dropping with certain things, and since we talked about femininity and sexuality and things like that, she did use some of her sexuality and things like that on the track Barbie Dreams. It is a spin-off and uses the beat of the classic Biggie track I'm Just Playing, where he talks about his own brand of sexuality back in the day and some of the chicks that he wanted to do stuff with, but we won't get into that. She was talking about some other rappers nowadays that she has messed with or did mess with or whatever. She actually raps on the track. That's where we're gonna start with. I tried to fuck 50 for a powerful hour, but all that nigga do is want to talk power for hours. But beat the pussy up, make sure it's a KO. Step your banks up like you're moving that yayo. That was kind of dope, actually. I thought that was a good lyric. Somebody go and make sure Karuchi okay. I heard she think I'm trying to give the coochie to Quavo. I mean, I don't know if she's now gonna be knowing Karuchi. No, actually, I don't know anything about Karuchi, I would say, as far as what was out here in the public. But I feel like there's going to be some sort of beef there now, like just knowing how females are. Now I just feel like they're definitely going to be beefing now, whatever. But let's move a little forward. Drake worth 100 million. He always buying me shit, but I don't know if the pussy wet or if he crying and shit. That lyric. It actually was kind of funny. Some people were saying, "Oh, this is a diss record to all these people." I don't know. I think she was just trying to be funny, basically, which is cool because that's another thing I like about this album. I feel like, especially with this song, I feel like she had a lot of fun with it. Like I feel like Nicki, she says it herself on her Twitter, is that she loves her fans. She loves making music for her fans, and like she gets energy from her fans and probably and from her music. So and with all album music, if the artist enjoys doing it, then the music comes off better because it's legit to them. If they feel like it's just work, you can tell when an artist just like pushed out an album because they either needed a check or the label told them to or whatever. So again, this like getting back to it, she had said whatever. I don't know what's going on. Did she let Drake smash? If she didn't let Drake smash, I don't really know, like, to be honest with you. What I don't know. She said it, like, the lyric makes it seem like she let Drake smash. It seemed like, he was crying while he was down there eating the box or whatever. And, I don't know. If I were Drake, my response, if he did feel offended by it, was like, oh, well, I beat, though. Like, I beat, so it don't matter. It don't matter. Meek still be in my DMs. I be having to duck him. I used to pray for times like this, face ass when I fuck him. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's legit or not legit. Nicki knew what she was doing when she name dropped certain people, and she did not release this song until the album came out. So she knew that, like, releasing some of these names, like, when the album came out, she knew it was going to get a whole bunch of buzz because people are going to be talking about, wait, so Meek still be in Nicki DMs? Like, what's going on with that? Oh, Drake, did she let Drake beat? What's going on with that? Did she let Lil Uzi? She said, man, Uzi, my baby, he ain't taking the L, but he took it literally when I said go to hell. And so that was funny. And last but not least, that we're going to talk about here is used to fuck with Young Thug. I ain't addressing this shit. Call him in my dressing room stealing dresses and shit. We know that Young Thug has his own personal sense of style. He even wore a dress on, what was it, the Jeffrey album cover. I mean, do what you want, Young Thug. Young Thug underrated. Young Thug underrated. Now, Young Thug is like, a lot of people hate him, a lot of people love him. But this is not about Young Thug. This is about Nicki Minaj, and I got to give it to her. First of all, this was a good track. It was dope. I hear up in New York, it's getting tons of radio play. Like, they love Biggie up there, so I understand. And, like, this was a good, like, play on words and everything like that. Her flow was good. Like, the song, it went hard, and it served its purpose, which it got the buzz going about Nicki, and it was a cool record. Like, honestly, if you're a Biggie fan and everything like that, it kind of take you back. It's just like, and it's cool that she's like paying homage to some like in her own way to some of the old rappers and everything like that. So that was up. Further from the release of Queen is we saw some news, I guess. Pretty much Nicki Minaj and Safari are now beefing online. Like, in case you didn't know, Safari used to date Nicki Minaj. How I guess it went is that he wrote some lyrics for her back in the day, and while Nicki was still coming up, I guess, and obviously he was her man for a while, and they eventually broke up. And Nicki became, of course, one of the biggest hip hop stars to date. And Safari is in his own right. He's not like a huge artist, would say himself. I don't really know what he does as far as ghostwriting for people and stuff like that. But he's become, since he, like him and Nicki broke up, he's been a way bigger personality. You see him on TV, you see him on Love and Hip Hop. You saw him recently on Funkmaster Flex, actually dropping a whole freestyle and everything like that. And he actually has a video where he was talking about Nicki and this whole Twitter beef that they have going on, where he's like, people don't want to see you go on Funkmaster Flex and talk and interview. People want to see you go on and do this. And he has a video of him spitting and everything like that. So I wouldn't be going back and forth with social media on an X anymore. Not at the age they at anyway. Like maybe back in the day, like when I was like in my early 20s and stuff like that. But now, especially with the whole world watching, I thought it was in poor taste or whatever. But they got into it in public. One of the biggest things that came out from this whole incident was this tweet from Safari, basically saying, remember that night you cut me and I almost died? The police and the ambulance had to take me out the crib on a stretcher and I had to lie. I was trying to kill myself so they wouldn't take you to jail. When things like that start happening more than once, it's time to dip. And to that, I would say, yes, Safari. Yes, you are absolutely correct. If things like that start happening and your girlfriend, fiance, whatever they were, starts to like stabs you and you almost die, yes, it's time to dip. Like, it's not a good idea for you to stick around. The only thing I would just say about this before we move on to like some of the stuff that Nicki said was, like, I didn't like the aura around it. The Nicki Minaj hive, or the Barbs as they call themselves, is that when Safari said it, they was just like, oh, you just like talking or whatever. And I'm like, man, if Safari had put his hands on her, or if he stabbed her or anything like that, if she even said that he stabbed her or whatever, like if she was acting wild, then it would have been the worst thing in the world. It'd have been time to take him to jail. Like I don't know, but I just felt like, okay, they were like, oh, well, they're making fun of Safari and shit like that. And Nicki, being Nicki, actually said herself, brought out, I should have never paid for that goddamn hairline. It fell out because God don't like ugly. You used me, but God had other plans. And to that, I would say, damn. She also in a later tweet said that Tyga got the same thing and his didn't fall out. And if I'm like Tyga, first of all, I'm like, damn, like Nicki, like why you even had to put my business out in the street? I ain't saying nothing about you. I was just over here making like tracks and doing my thing and like whatever. And then you had to put all my business out in the street. Like, what's good, Nicki? And to this, I would say, like, man, that was funny, first of all. Like, hey, I ain't mad. Safari doesn't seem to be ashamed about it. He said, hey, my hairline was $12,000. And to be real with you, like, Nicki, like, let's be real. Like, Nicki, that beautiful body that she has, like, she paid for certain things to that, too. She even admits to it. Like, she maybe got her titties done. She got some shots. Like, whatever. Like, whatever. So she got some work done, and she paid for Safari to get some work done, and Safari was with her while she was building it up. But whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm big on you should never take your business public like they did, but whatever. It is what it is. It's public now, and like, what can you say? What can you say? I don't know. What could you say about them? Like, I mean, they definitely should stay away from each other. But they definitely, you know how relationships are when y'all break up, but y'all get into it. Like, thank God they don't have no kids together because, like, damn. But, hey, it is what it is. But you got to give it up to Nicki, though, because she did do... Nicki, like, she dropped a dope album. She's like controlled a lot of the entertainment, the news waves and everything like that. She got a lot of attention toward her album, and like the whole Safari beef, I guess, like I said, in the music industry, any news, any attention is good attention. So it helped get some more attention for her album. And Safari said himself he don't have no ill will toward her. I guess but one thing they always say, but did you die though? So he did not die. He's quite alive. So hey, I guess he moved past it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And if they happy, I'm happy. Cool. The video of the week, we would be remiss if we didn't give it up to Nicki Minaj. And one of my favorite tracks from the album actually is the Ganja Burns track. Is she opens up the album with it. So let's give you a quick cut of the Ganja Burns video.
King status to get men my body. Gotta be king status to get in your body. Fuck yeah, cause a queen is what I embody.
Yeah. So that was the Ganja Burns video. Obviously on YouTube we can't play the full song for you because they'll try to take our money away. But anyway, it was Ganja Burns. Like I said, Ganja Burns is a cool song. It makes me, I done quit smoking, but it kind of makes me want to smoke again. It's got like that cool vibe. I like the actual video. Like she's got this Egyptian theme on the album cover, and there she's like in the desert. And a little bit later in the album, she's got like some cool choreography and everything like that. I would definitely recommend it. It's a good video. Go check that out. Also, featured on the album is the one and only Tekashi 6ix9ine, and Mr. Tekashi has gotten to some trouble this week. Tekashi, yeah. So back a few years ago, I believe it was 2016, Tekashi 6ix9ine got into. He pled guilty to 3 counts of basically some sort of sexual contact or some sort of sexual contact with the child. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know all the details of the incident because frankly, I'm not gonna go research too deep into whatever this guy is doing with the child. What I do know is that any type of sexual interaction between an adult and a child is completely inappropriate and uncalled for. Point blank, period. Period. With a DT at the end, period. Occur. So with that said, I mean, I'm not cool with it. Now, Tekashi 6ix9ine, pictured here, he's a funny guy. Like, you got to give it to him. I don't know if you've seen his Twitter videos and everything like that. He's a rapper. I won't say that I'm the biggest fan of his music, and I don't know exactly what he was doing in this picture. This is a recent picture where he was about to go into court. Like, if you show up to my courtroom and I'm the judge, I'm sending you to jail. You dress like this, bro. Like, I don't know what you got going on. Maybe he fixed it up later, but you still came to court wearing like some pink Jordans, some jeans. Like, I mean, but I guess to a certain point when you got your face all tatted up, like you prepared to get judged, but for the rest of your life. But anyway, with that said, at the time that he pled guilty to this sexual whatever with the child, the girl was 13 at the time, by the way, and he was 18. The judge pretty much did not give him jail time, gave him, I guess, probation, told him, hey, you need to not commit any sort of crimes. It was either 2 to 3 years. If you get into trouble, you're going to potentially get jail time, and I'm going to place you on the sex offenders registry. Me personally, if the judge tells me stay out of trouble, or I'm going to place you on a sex offender, first of all, before we even tell, I would never find myself in a situation to where I would have any trouble with any type of 13-year-old girl. Like that just wouldn't be me. Whatever. But if I got into any sort of trouble, and the judge frankly told me, hey, you need to stay out of trouble for a period of 2 to 3 years, and or you're going to be placed in a sex offender registry or potentially go to jail, I would sit my ass down somewhere. Tekashi 6ix9ine, while he's a funny guy and I understand he's a musician and I understand what wing of like musician he's in, he's like kind of whatever, gangster rapper or whatever it is, like whatever, I don't know. He just be going hard, like you hear him screaming shit on his tracks or whatever. Like he's not out of trouble. He's got been arrested for choking some underage person again. You know that he got into it with Chief Keef recently, and basically the whole beef with Chief Keef was like, and he's known for like he's a I guess blood or whatever. We'll get into that a little bit further later. But he's in like you always say in the Treyway gang stuff, and he's always into some shit. And like the whole thing with Chief Keef is that you're on camera, basically like he's not on camera actually saying that he would do anything to Chief Keef or whatever, but he's saying that other people like insinuating that he did. And then when people really TMZ called him to him and asked him about it, he's like, oh, I don't know anything about it, whatever. And then like kind of mocking Chief Keef and all that good stuff. And again, like, bro, that's first of all, it's petty, but I get it. Like you in the rap game or whatever, you got beef with Chief Keef for whatever reason or whatever. So like, cool, like whatever, talk your shit. But bro, like I would not be choking anybody up. I wouldn't be doing anything. I would be sitting my ass down somewhere making my music or whatever. But that's not what Tekashi 6ix9ine does. He's got into some shit, and now he's got a court case on October the 2nd, where apparently he could potentially go to jail because of it. And like, bro, I mean, hey, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about it. Other people did know a little bit of what to say about it. You may know that Tekashi 6ix9ine recently has some sort of beef with YG. The beef extends from basically, I don't know exactly where these things start all the time, but YG is basically, it's like, I don't like these pink hair bloods on his album. By the way, YG's album recently dropped, Stay Dangerous. And my opinion on it quickly is like, I mean, it's like a throwback to like old school, like maybe whatever gangster rap, it go hard or whatever. It wasn't like the greatest album. I mean, everybody's heard the song Big Bank more than likely at this point. I thought it was a mediocre album, to be honest with you. It was like I wouldn't throw somebody out of my car for playing it, but at the same time, it wasn't the greatest thing that I've ever heard ever, and I spend more time listening to other albums. But getting back to this, he said on that album, he said, on the song Subu from the album, he's like, I don't fuck with these pink hair bloods, and like clearly talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine. Tekashi 6ix9ine fired back, saying basically, and it's kind of true, like kind of hit him with the who are you, like I've been in the game way less time than you, and like I got way more publicity and way more hits than you. And like these two, they've been going back and forth on Instagram. Now it's crazy, by the way, that in 2018, I guess it's better because in 2018, Tekashi 6ix9ine and YG and Tekashi 6ix9ine and Chief Keef, they beef on Instagram and they post little videos and doing this and all this good stuff. Back in 1995 or whatever, whatever it was, we used to just kill each other. So I guess that's good. Rest in peace, Tupac and Biggie. But yeah. But anyway, they're beefing on Instagram, and actually Nicki ended up getting into it. She basically told Tekashi, hey, sit your ass down. This was after Fifi dropped, and she was like, hey, look, YG's song Big Bank went gold before our track Fifi. So, like, you need to sit down. She called him Daniel. That was funny. Daniel Hernandez is his name. You're going to hear that a lot while he's in court. But she was like, hey, sit down, Dan. You need to chill. And, I mean, Daniel did not sit down. He continued to go back. They going back and forth with each other. And YG, speaking of this whole situation, just thought that this was hilarious. As you see here, bang. He just basically thought that the whole situation. Oh, as you see, Double XL tweeted 6ix9ine back in court over his charge of using a child in a sexual performance, and a Manhattan district attorney has reportedly recommended that he serve 1 to 3 years in jail and register as a sex offender. And YG just thinks that's hilarious. Anybody who knows anything about prison or anything like that, they'll tell you, like, first of all, if you go to prison for rape or doing something to a child, those are low crimes on the totem pole, and that's not going to be a good time for you. Now, if you want to, I don't want to get into a whole prison thing, but he might be okay because, like, Tekashi's in the gang anyway, so he'll click up with them and he'll probably be fine, whatever. Plus, he's got money, so, you know, money makes everything better. But, like, I mean, it's whatever. Like, honestly, people were laughing at Extension because when he died, because everything whatever that happened from his domestic violence case and everything like that. So very few people are gonna cry for Tekashi if he goes to jail after the judge probably, if he really did something with the child, probably should have been in jail in the first place. So whatever. Now, to Tekashi's credit, to Tekashi's side of the story, because we do want to give like all sides of the story. Tekashi basically says is that I don't know if he's saying he's innocent or whatever, but he was saying he took that plea deal, because he was just coming up in the rap game. He wasn't huge yet. His hair wasn't even pink yet, and he had just had a baby. And he did not want to go to jail, and because that would pretty much derail his rap career, and like he wouldn't be there for his child, so he took the deal. So, which I sort of understand. Like, we hear stories about, like, I'm not sorry, young black men like having to take like raw deals with public defenders because like, and where they end up like being felonies and like not being able to get certain jobs. For charges things that they probably didn't do, or like probably would beat if they had better lawyers, simply because A, they don't have a good lawyer, and B, because they don't have any money to get a good lawyer. So I kind of understand that, but also it seems like there's pretty solid evidence that he kind of did something with a child. So whatever. Like honestly, you should have sat your ass down somewhere, is what I would say. Like, honestly, and that's like whatever, bro. Like, best of luck to you. Whatever. So, moving a little bit forward, let's get into some fan questions. We want to thank you guys so much. Our social media team rolled out some new questions this week. And we're going to need you guys, by the way, follow us on Instagram, Binge Play TV. That's BINGEPLAY TV. We're working on editing here. We'll have that pop up on the screen for you soon. But we got some fan questions, fam questions, we call them here, from like everybody, our supporters, and by the way, we love our supporters, and we want to thank you guys so much. Like, we need y'all, and we thank you guys for your support. But we got some questions from y'all. We want to be real interactive with y'all. We want to know what y'all want to talk about. So the first question comes from our Binge Play TV CEO himself, NJ Cheese. Do I have a favorite artist of all time? Now, this is a fluid situation, like with all music. I'm glad that you asked the question. The way that you asked it was not who's the best rapper of all time, because I don't even think that can be answered. It's who's my favorite. Now, anybody that knows me knows that for years, pretty much from high school on, my favorite rapper of all time or musician of all time was Kanye West. Kanye West recently disappointed me. So I have to move him down the list. We'll always have the classics, Kanye. College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That's kind of where Kanye started to get twisted and go off to the left. But yeah, he's the best. He was the best, in my opinion. And those albums really spoke to me, and like, especially where I was and the things that I wanted to do in my life. Music is all about like what you identify with, and those albums really spoke to me. Yeah, but like I said, Kanye West disappointed me, and I have to move him down on the list. I would say probably my favorite artist of all time now would be. Well, my favorite artist right now is Childish Gambino. He's like somebody that I actually admire. I guess it's even more so than just his music. It's just I just like his whole career. He's just one of the most talented people out there. He's before like everybody was making, hey, I need to have a TV show and an album and whatever. Like he had a rapping and acting career, and he was like he's starting to get big now. But like even back in the day, like when he was on Community and dropping Camp, and even before Camp when he was dropping just the EP and the Be Alone track and all that good stuff, and like dope, like one of the dopest rappers. Talk about somebody who speaks to you. Like everybody doesn't have to be a gangster rapper. Some of us are just like black nerds out here, and we just be out here doing shit and like and trying to be creative and trying to do whatever it is that we want to do. And Childish actually speaks to me. Speaking of Childish, this picture actually came up recently across my timeline. And in case you didn't know, let me make it bigger for y'all. You know who that is? That's Childish Gambino and Rihanna. I think they said they're in Jamaica. Why y'all in Jamaica? What y'all doing? I mean, I don't think they're dating. I don't really care if they're dating or not. I mean, I know Rihanna has a billionaire boyfriend. I hope, what I'm hoping, because Rihanna does have a reggae album that is getting ready to come out. Is Childish Gambino going to be on Rihanna's reggae album? One can only hope. But thank you so much to NJ Cheese for your question. Second question comes from our new social media director, Mafioso Live. Make sure you guys follow him on Instagram. By the way, NJ Cheese, you can follow him on Instagram as well. But Mafioso Live says, who would win a rap battle between Cheese and TheNightsHero? You can see Cheese on other videos. And neither me nor Cheese can rap, but I would win. I would win. I would demolish this guy. And like, let me give you guys. Let me spit a couple. My name is Dre. I'm here to say that I love Fruity Pebbles in a special way. Oh! That ain't even true. I don't like Fruity Pebbles. They get soggy too quick in the milk. But what would I say? Yeah, in a true rap battle between me and Cheese, everybody loses. Nobody wants to see that. So, coming from some fam outside of BPTV, one of our Instagram followers, nah, I'm good, thanks. So how do I feel about the new upcoming artists, young bands? Well, I'm glad you asked this question because I'm not going to have time to get into like underground and new artists this week because of some other big news. We'll get into that in just a second. But young bands, I'm excited to hear more from him. I've heard some decent tracks from him. He's got some decent features. I actually heard a track with him and YBM Namir, one of the freshmen. I thought that Young Bands was going to be one of the freshman 10. You know what I like about Young Bands? He doesn't sound like he's one of the mumble rappers. Anybody that knows me knows I cannot stand mumble rappers, man. I don't want to hear them. No, like y'all producers deserve y'all full check. So Young Bands, I'm looking to see more of him. I'm excited to hear more from him. Our next question comes from IQBAL357. Wants to know my thoughts on Eminem. What are my thoughts on Eminem? Eminem is one of the greatest rappers of all time. His face belongs probably on, he probably would be on like my Mount Rushmore of top rappers of all time. Eminem's recent works, like, I don't want to say this right, because sometimes I feel like people were like, oh man, when they're on drugs, when rappers are off the drugs, and when they were on them, like their music suffers. And I don't even know. Like Eminem might be on pills, he might not be on pills. I don't know when he got off the pills, whatever. But I really don't know what's going on with Eminem, and I can't claim to know too much about what's going on in his personal life. Now, what I would say is that, like, while his recent works, like some of his albums when they first came out, like his first albums and his first lyrics, he changed the game. Like he pushed the envelope. He like maybe a lot of these rappers, whether they not would want to admit it, but some of the things that they can say and do now, they can say and do because Eminem like already did it and like whatever. So like so a lot of people like in the hip hop community don't want to give Eminem his love. They're like, oh well, he was only big because he was white. No, Eminem was big because like he's one of the greatest rappers of all time. Period. I just feel like recently, like with a lot of rappers, like Jay-Z, one of the biggest rappers of all time, I still like his albums and I still listen to Eminem's new stuff, but it's just not as it's not what it used to be, you know what I mean? But that happens a lot with new rappers. Last but not least, fam question comes from our boy MF Jim with 2 M's. Follow him on Instagram too. He DM'd it to us and he was like, basically it's like, I'm the type of person who strongly believe music is situational and mostly involves preference. So tell me why niggas still put their heart and soul into debates. I mean, they be ready to throw hands and all, LOL. So, this is a good question. And so what he's talking about is that have you ever been involved in a music debate with 2, especially hood black people? Like, what do you mean Young Thug is not the best out right now? What you mean? Tekashi 6ix9ine is the best out right now. Bro, I'll spit on you. Bro, like, whatever. Like, I mean, music, people are passionate. First of all, black people in general, we are a very passionate race. Like no one has more passion about the things that we care about than black people. Even the things we don't care about. I think black people are more passionate about having passion than about the things that we're passionate about. Like we like to be loud, we like to be energetic, we like to do things. Just look at me right now. Like I'm animated and all this good stuff right now. With that said, like with music, you identify with the rappers and the artists that speak most to you. So a guy who listens a lot to Young Thug, like he's listening to because he feels like he sees himself in Young Thug. He feels like Young Thug is either who he is, who he was before, who he is now, or who he aspires to be. So with that said, like nothing inspires like what have you more passionate than who you want to be or who you were or who you are now. So of course you want to say the rapper you identify with, Young Thug or Jay-Z, whoever it is, like you think he's the best, and like if somebody says something about your boy Young Thug, you feel like they coming for you because they're like, yo man, like Young Thug, like man, that really spoke to me. That really, and what you mean? That it feels like you coming for me if you coming for my favorite rapper. So while no, I would not be throwing hands with somebody over them saying that Kanye West or Childish Gambino is the greatest rapper or one of the best rappers out there. I would also say, like, I mean, like you see, like we have passion about who we are and who we want to be, and that's why particularly black people and anybody are so passionate about the things that we want to have passion about. So thank you guys so much for the questions. You can submit any questions to us if you don't have Instagram at BingePlay TV Talks at gmail.com. We'll get a link for you soon. And actually, if you go to the description, you will be able soon, and maybe they're already, and maybe they're in a couple days, you'll be able to see our email where you can drop any questions that you want to drop for us. Also, the underground or under the radar music section is not on the show this week, but I already have some artists that I want to put on there. We do ask any like new rappers or underground rappers or anybody that just wants to have a suggestion of somebody they want us to listen to definitely, if you can drop it in the comments below, drop it to our email if you want to send some music to us, send it to us on Instagram. Anything you want to do, I'm definitely down to listen to any new music. Am I gonna say I can listen to all of them? No, but I didn't even have time to answer every single question that got to me. But we do appreciate anybody that wants to interact with us. Thank you guys so much. Please continue to send the questions on Instagram. Please continue to send us the emails. Please continue to send us your new music, and we will show you some love on the show. And again, thank you so much for watching and everything like that. So, the biggest and saddest news of the day would be the passing of Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin, one of the greatest artists, the greatest voices of all time. She passed away from us. She lived to be 74 years old, if I'm correct. Even every single time we saw her, she was still able, every time we saw her, she was still able to blow when she wanted to. Like, one of the most unique voices of all time, with some of the greatest hits of all time. She paved the way, one of the queen of soul herself. So just a melancholy farewell to her. And we want to end the show just showing her some love and best wishes to her family. It's sad to see her go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm the Night's Hero, and until next week, adios.